Quickly answer me, what is the process of internal control? Review of internal control and effectiveness of and appointment of internal auditor and reporting of internal audit report. What is the process for appointment of internal auditor and report submission of internal auditor? Ultimately, internal auditor shall be appointed by the provided if there is an, then internal auditor shall be recommended by, and the recommendation shall be considered by, provided if at any point of time board of directors are rejecting the audit committee's recommendation, then they are supposed to give a satisfactory explanation to the audit committee. Clear, everybody? And what is the scope of internal control? Reliability and integrity of financial and operating information, compliance with laws, rules and regulations, safeguarding of assets, efficiency and economic, efficient and effectiveness of resources, accomplishment of objectives and goals. Clear, everybody? And what is internal audit? Audit of internal, what are internal controls? Process, methods adopted for smooth running and functioning of the organizations. Clear, everybody? Methods, procedures, process adopted for controlling the operations. Next, please continue.
Internal control. Internal control is combination of internal check and internal audit system designated, implemented and maintained in an organization.
For your kind information, my dear children, internal audit is also one of the internal controls. Internal audit is also one of the internal controls, whether you are doing properly or not. For that purpose, I am doing an internal audit. So, basing on internal audit's report, I will be again re-verifying the system. Okay, did you understand? So, internal audit is also a part of internal control. And the next one, internal check. Sir, what do you mean by internal check? Internal check is also called a simultaneous check. Internal check is also called a simultaneous check. Peer level reviews kind of things will be there, right? Onni kuda you will be telling it as internal check itself. What do you mean by that? Let me give you an example. Say for example, stock was unloaded. Stock was unloaded. If the unloading is done by the same person, counting is done by the same person, replenishment of stock into the godown is done by the same person, entering into books of accounts is done by the same person. Case 1. Case 2. Loading and unloading is by one person, entering of record is by another person, counting is by another person. Where there are more chances of manipulations? First case or the second case? For first case, there are more chances for manipulation. Hey, is it clear? Huh? For first case, there is more chances for manipulation. But if you are going with the second case, loading and unloading is done by one party, immediately it will be counted by another party, immediately it will be entered into the books of accounts by another party. Yes or no? So the checking is simultaneously completed. Checking is? So internal check is also a part of internal control. Is it clear? Huh? Dash and dash are part of internal controls, Nana. Internal check and perfect. Next.
In the internal control system, checking is performed simultaneously.
No, this one. Internal audit function is designed by those charged with governance to keep a check on the activities of the entity. So already you know that. Internal control is, internal audit function is designed by those charged with governance. What do you mean by those charged with governance? Management. Literally, whoever are supposed to take care, they are called as those charged with governance. For CMAD, I was those charged with governance. For your CMA Final, the management is those charged with governance. Are you getting my point, everybody? Whoever are the persons responsible, they are called as those charged with governance. So, internal audit function is designed by those charged with governance literally by management to keep a track on the activities of the entity, to keep a track on the controls of the entity, whether the controls are efficient or not. Sufficiency, implementation, everything has to be considered. Respond clear. Next.
In the internal control system, checking is performed simultaneously while carrying out work.
A kind of internal check, already I told you. Next.
In internal audit
For an
system,
internal audit system, work is not simultaneously checked out. After the work is done, after completion of work, you will be doing internal audit. Hey, is it clear? Next.
the basic objective of internal control system is to ensure compliance with management policies.
So, basic object of IC system is to ensure compliance with management policy. What is a management policy? A teacher should come on time. What is a management policy? A teacher should complete the concept within allotted hours. What is a management policy? Class should run right from morning 7:30 till evening 9 o'clock. So, for adoption of these policies, there are some internal controls like maintaining the records, classroom in charges, academic observers, etc. and etc. Is it clear, everybody? So now answer me. Internal control system is for the purpose of achieving the management's objectives or compliance of management policies, whereas internal audit is done to detect where this IC system is weak. Because at points where IC system is weak, frauds will be developed more there. If IC system is weak, say for example, no cameras in this classroom, all we are like one party itself. Even you don't want me to teach the class, even I don't want to teach the class. Even in charges join hands with us. Clear, everybody? So just for fun, sir. Everybody will join hands with us and we are actually chilling in this 1 hour. You have to check out where the poor internal controls are there. Due to poor internal controls, frauds will be more. Understood, everybody? Yes. So that's all about your internal audit and internal control system. Next.
Explain about the critical activities
So quickly
of
answer me.
internal audit.
Internal check and internal audit is a part of internal control is methods and procedures adopted in order to take care about management policies and their objectives in order to achieve the management objectives and goals. Sir, no need to by heart anything and no need to write as it is. ఏది by heart చేసి బట్టి పట్టి రాయక్కర్లేదు. You can write with your own words. Yes, absolutely not a big deal. You can absolutely write with your own words, but better to use like some technical words. Technical words అంటే ఏం లేదు, ఇంటర్నల్ కంట్రోల్, ఇంటర్నల్ ఆడిట్, ఇంటర్నల్ చెక్ అంతే. Clear, everybody? Better to use some technical terminology and reproduce with your own words. It's not a very big deal actually. Anyways, let us proceed further. The next one.
Explain about the critical activities of internal audit.
Yeah, take care critical activities of internal audit in the sense how to proceed with internal audit. Please go ahead.
As per SIA, Standards on Internal Audit 210, issued by ICAI,
Yes, here ICI is Institute of Chartered Accountants of India.
the internal audit function is the responsibility of the chief internal auditor or the designated person.
The internal audit is the responsibility of chief internal auditor or the designated person. Sir, is internal audit more like employee or more like auditor? More like employee. Internal auditor is an auditor, but he is more like an employee because you are appointing that person with one job, and that job is to check out the internal controls whether they are following properly or not in order to achieve the organization's objectives and goals and in order to follow the management's policies. Clear, everybody? Okay. So automatically it is the responsibility of either chief internal auditor or the designated person. Next.
He performs a number of activities to achieve the objectives as outlined in terms of engagement. A few of the critical activities are as follows.
Yes, so he performs a number of activities Of course, he has to do many activities. Am I correct or wrong? And some of the critical activities are as follows.
Define the overall plan, scope, and methodology of the internal audit function on a periodic basis.
Point number 1, is internal audit a continuous basis or a periodic basis? But you should not follow the same plan for all the periods. Sometimes you have to give some jhalaks to the not management, to the employees actually. Clear everybody? It should not be on a routine basis. Every day, say for example, every month or every week starting you will go in general. But this time, week ending you have to go, or week mid you have to go. Getting my point, everybody? So like that, on a periodic basis, you first define the plan, scope and methodology. How to do the internal audit? Just have a plan. Scope, what is your limitation? What are your limitations? Where you have to concentrate more, where you have to concentrate less, where no concentration is needed at all. And what is your responsibility? To what areas you are supposed to do the internal audit? Clear everybody? Sir, you are supposed to do the internal audit with respect to the internal controls, but you are not supposed to keep an eye on the management. And in your internal audit report, you have given something like so and so board of director is not following the internal controls. He is not coming on time. What's your work? To check the effectiveness of internal controls with respect to the business entity, but not the management portions. Board of directors generally will not come on time. They won't come. If they come, they are not board of directors. Hope you know that, especially in hospitals, doctors won't come. If they are coming on time, they are not doctors at all. But one greatest thing is that at least they'll attend on time for surgeries. Anyways, see, I'm not criticizing their position because they are having their own inhibitions and their own difficulties. Might be they are too tired in doing a surgery. All of a sudden, he needs some rest. He can't attend the patients. Correct or wrong? If he attend, he'll give wrong prescriptions. One prescription will be given for another person. Getting my point, everybody? Surgery Next. So the plan is important, scope is important, methodology, like how to perform it, even that is also very, very important. You have to plan it on a periodical basis. Because, sir, why I can't plan it for the entire year? Situations are challenging. Situations are not uniform all the time. Situations changes. According to that, management will change their internal controls. If they are changing their internal controls, you may need to change your internal audit methodology. So if you plan everything at right the beginning itself, you may not perform it properly because of change in situations and change in controls. You understood? So it's recommended to develop the plan on a periodic basis. Next.
Oversee and monitor various audit assignments, their proper planning, execution, reporting of findings, and recommend action plan to mitigate risk or concerns with respect to observations and subsequent closure of reported observations.
Oversee and monitor various audit assignments. What you have done, just go through each and everything and their proper planning, their execution, their reporting of findings and recommended action. What is your audit assignment today? I have to do so and so work. Whether you have done the same or not, or whether your staff, engagement team, did you remember? Who includes an engagement team? Principal auditor, paid assistants, junior article assistants, senior article assistants, any other designation. Am I correct or wrong? So anyways, so whether you are doing the respective audit assignment or not, if not, whether your engagement team is doing the audit assignment or not. And the planning is important. After planning, execution is important. After execution, reporting is important. In that report, you have to give the recommended action. Telling something that, hey, this area is not good. No, that's not a proper report at all. This area is not good, but it can be made good by following this kind of policy. And moreover, your report should not demotivate the employees and it should not demotivate the management. It should be in such a words like they can be achievable. You have to prepare the report in such a way. Hey, your policy itself is a wrong policy. No, not like that. Clear everybody. This policy can be improved if you follow like this. Like what another. Clear everybody. Don't blame them. Just give the recommended actions to them. Clear everybody. So what you have to do with audit assignments? Planning, execution, reporting, suggestions, which is nothing but recommended actions. Hey, clear everybody. And very important, you also need to have a check on the subsequent closure of the reported observations. Likewise, you have given one observation. This is the vulnerable area, weakest area. Concentrate and rectify immediately. Whether the management had done the same or not, alert them continuously till that observation is closed. Say for example, you have observed Pranay Sir is telling fast. So I have to manage myself that I have to make it a bit slowly. That observation must be closed. Say for example, you're telling something like, sir, you're just telling the meaning of the statement, you're not telling the outlook or something like that. It's my duty to close that point, to close that observation. Hey, is it understood? So observation is nothing but your finding. Finally, your finding must be closed with recommended action. Is the logic clear? If they are not following the recommended action, that is their wish. There's no mandatory that they have to follow the recommended actions all the time. They might have their own designing of internal controls also. They can follow those things. Respond clear? Hey, tell me what is the question you are learning? Don't forget that, okay? Critical activities of internal audit. What is the first critical activity? Design it on a periodical basis. Design it on a. And the next one. Check whether the audit assignments are being completed properly or not. Completed in the sense planning, execution, reporting, suggestions or recommended actions. And also you have to check out whether the subsequent closure of observations, all the findings were rectified or not. Even that has to be found out. Respond pakka. Next.
Plan, engage and review the performance, training and development of professional staff, talent and other resources to achieve its objectives.
Now again it's your duty to plan, engage and review the performance, training, development of professional staff and professional talent and other resources to achieve the objectives. Every organization is having its own objectives and goals. Am I correct or wrong? So to achieve those objectives and to achieve those goals, to achieve the objectives and to achieve the goals, you have to check out and you have to plan actually. First of all, to achieve the objectives and goals, whether the professional talent is enough capable or not. If not, provide immediate training to them. You have to plan that and you have to review the performance done by them. Say for example, I'm teaching CMAD. Whether I'm teaching it properly or not. You may not be knowing anything because this is new subject. Whatever I tell, you may feel this is correct only. Even though I tell wrong, even though I tell wrong, you may feel that is correct only. But whether the same is done correctly or wrongly, internal auditor should develop a plan for that. Whether this person is teaching properly or not. Let the same given to some other person who is not having subject knowledge and let them decide the same. Sir, hope you are getting my point. So that is what your point number 3. Point number 1 is planning on a periodical basis. Planning, execution, methodology, scope, everything. You have to plan it on a periodical basis. Plan your internal audit on a periodical basis. The next one. After planning, you will be having one particular audit assignment on one day, correct? That must be properly planned, executed, reported, suggestions. And also you need to check for subsequent closure of the observations. Now these two things were over. Now your additional critical activity, additional duty is to check out whether the professional staff or employees are enough capable to meet the enterprise's objectives or not. If not, you have to plan, train them, and you have to review the performance. Clear, everybody? Plan for the same. Plan for training. Plan for reviewing the performance. Respond, everybody, pakka. The next one.
Identify, source, engage and manage external experts and technical solutions if required. Communicate and engage with all key stakeholders regarding progress and achievement of objectives.
Identify, source, engage and manage external experts and technical solutions if required. If required, you just take the expertise solutions and technical solutions and just talk to each and everyone and communicate and engage with all the key stakeholders regarding the progress and achievement of objectives. See, if management is telling something like, we are striving our hard work to settle your dues to the creditors, creditors may not believe it. But if the auditor is telling, some sort of beliefness will be there. Am I correct or wrong? Auditor is telling, you creditors, don't worry. This organization is actually doing its own job. See, here is the data. Just show them the proof. Talk to all the key stakeholders. Talk to the employees. Just motivate them so that things will work out. They respond clear. Huh? Next.
Develop and maintain a quality evaluation and improvement program.
So develop and maintain a quality evaluation and improvement program. This is the duty of internal auditor. Quality evaluation, whether the work is being done in a qualitative way or not, and improvement program. Existing work is done properly or not, and how to improve the existing work. Respond clear. Take care. Point number 1. Plan on a periodical basis. After planning on a particular day, you have to do an audit assignment. That must be planned, executed, reported, and suggestions. And also you have to check out for subsequent closure of the observations. Now you check out whether the available professional talent are able to meet the objectives of the management. If not, you have to plan, train, and review the performance. Review the performance. If they are enough capable, fine. If not, you have to plan for the training. Respond, everybody, clear. And also talk to all the key stakeholders and communicate all the policies, all the achievements, etc. and etc. And last and final, you have to check out the quality and improvement program. Quality evaluation, improvement program, performance evaluation, which is nothing but quality evaluation. Clear, everybody? And also the improvement program. Respond, everybody, understood. These are the critical activities of the enterprise. These are the critical activities of enterprise with respect to internal audit. Respond, everybody, understood. That's what your question number 4. Just go through these 4 questions. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Online, let's start with COSO framework. Is not concentrating on the practical aspects of law paper, giving some direct theory questions. Hope you might have observed it. మీకు అది టీచర్ కూడా చెప్పి ఉంటారు. Started, not started. So at least your seniors might have told, or you might have seen the papers. Law direct questions he's asking. Direct, just copy paste kind of questions he'll ask. So be careful with it. And moreover, coming to law, you have to reproduce, terminology. చాలా ఎక్కువ reproduce చేయాలి. If it is CMA, it's like too general. Companies Act related law also is there for us. But no need to worry that much, because in all such aspects he'll ask practical questions. Beauty of our subject is, this is regular theory. So you can write in your own words. But you will be having some law also. That you have to write on provision basis. But the luckiest part is that there you are going to get the practical part. So it's not a very big deal. You can manage it. Anyways, so my suggestion is like, prepare it on a daily basis. సో సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్ విల్ బి వర్క్డ్ అవుట్ ఫర్ యూ. ఎలాగూ కొన్ని రోజులు అయిపోయిన తర్వాత డైలీ బేసిస్ అన్న కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉండదు. మేబీ స్టార్టింగ్ కాబట్టి కొంచెం ఏమైనా ఊగుతారేమో కానీ తర్వాత నుంచుండిపోతారు అంతే. లెట్స్ స్టార్ట్ విత్ క్వశ్చన్ నెంబర్ 5. ప్లీజ్ గో అహెడ్.
How the committee or sponsoring organization frame works on as an audit tool along with the control environment.
Which is commonly called as COSO. It's a committee of sponsoring organization. COSO is having some policies, it's having some rules and regulations, which is nothing but framework. COSO framework will be helpful for an audit tool along with some control environment. Along with control environment. Ante, to do the internal audit, you will be having control environment for each and every business concern. Control environment is different for different business concerns. Even though in the same industry. Controls and environment is totally different. I asked you to know the work cultures and work environment of Google and Tesla. Did you? What is the hard difference? Yes. Tesla, Elon Musk, if I was not wrong, in one of the interviews he said that to become a successful person, he need to work for 16 hours a day. It is his claiming. For 16 hours you need to work. It is his claiming. And also, he is very strict about that. And very work stress will be there in to all the employees who are working in Tesla. On time accomplishment of task is important. On time attendance is important for your kind information. Formal wear is also important. No relaxation. Just hardly like they'll give you morning 15 minutes break, afternoon 15 minutes break, afternoon lunch 1 hour. Apart from that, nothing more at all. Comparative to that one, this is far better. But Google is not like that. It's like you can chill and enjoy like anything on matter. You can even go in shorts for work. Nobody are going to ask. Enter the... Yes. You can take nap and you'll be having some sort of food stuff also. Whenever you feel bored, there will be a cafeteria, there will be some snookers. Whenever you feel bored, you can go work there, etc. and etc. But remember, at any cost, you have to complete your work on time. That is mandatory everywhere. But to complete that work, there are 2 types. Learning is also like 2 ways. Learning with enjoyment and learning with seriousness. Very serious, don't talk, you have to learn, that's it. Hey, nothing great, just you talk along with me, chill along with me, sleep along with me. Along with me, if I sleep, you have to sleep. If not, you should not. Clear everybody? So all these things is like work environment, difference in work environment. So automatically, if the work culture is different, internal control environment is also different. So before doing an internal audit, you should understand the control environment of a business concern. And for this purpose, actually COSO framework will also help you. What are the areas where you have to go through? And see here, COSO framework defines 5 components of internal control. Concentrate on these 5 components so that your job of internal audit will become very, very easy. Hey, did you understand the question first? So he is asking how the COSO framework is helping as an audit tool for internal control environment. It's a kind of suggestion. Suggestions were given for COSO framework, and the suggestions are: number 1, control environment; number 2, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication, monitoring. కానీ COSO framework ఎందుకు నన్ను అడిగితే నేనే చెప్తా. సీరియస్లీ మిమ్మల్ని అడిగితే మీరు కూడా చెప్తారు. Number 1 is control environment. As I already said you, before starting an internal audit, first of all, get an understanding on the control environment. Say for example, there is a policy. Say for example, class is running for 1 hour. There's a policy that even though it's like 10 minutes wastage, it's like normal itself, no need to consider. But your internal auditor is concentrating on each and every aspect, even on 2 minutes wastage, and he is giving a hard report. In a month, total faculty had wasted 555 minutes. Say in a week, they have wasted 300 minutes. Getting my point, everybody? 300 minutes they have wasted. Say for example given like that. Won't it become a hard number to see? For a week 300 minutes is hard number for sure. Hey, yes or no? Yes, for sure. 300 కాదులే డైలీ ఓ 200 డైలీ 150 minutes వేస్ట్ అయిపోయినా పెద్దగా పట్టించుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. Because you just do a rough calculation, you'll get, say for example, on an average each and every class 5 minutes late. Just a rough calculation I'm telling. Daily at least 10 hours will run for you on an average. No, I'm not speaking hours. Hours in the sense how many periods will run. Okay, on an average, okay, 7 వేసుకోండి పోనీ. సరే 10 into 5. 50 minutes for one batch. 50 minutes for one batch. Like that, say for example, there are 10 batches. 10 into 50 minutes. 500 minutes on one day. I've just given you some sort of rough calculations. Also, the minimal calculation. This can't be considered as very serious notion. Why so? Because from one campus to another campus, the traveling time will be there. Yes or no? And moreover, the existing teacher should go out, new teacher should come in. You have to close your old books, you have to open your new books, you have to settle. Am I correct or wrong? In the meantime, you have to go for your special rooms, which are constructed exclusively for you. So, all this is a kind of normal loss which can't be considered as very serious notion. Getting my point, everybody? So, control environment is also very, very important. If all the classes are there in the same campus, if teacher is continuing right from morning till evening, then even small wastage can be considered as more. So, you have to check out what kind of control environment that the business is having. Say if management is telling even 1 minute wastage is very important, then auditor need to report that 500 minutes wastage is for 2 days wastage. But if at all management themselves is having a policy, not a big deal. 5 minutes per period is like normal. In such a case, 500 minutes per day is not normal, not abnormal. A logic clear, So before starting your internal audit, first of all, get an understanding on control environment. What kind of environment that you are having. Understood. Next, risk assessment. Already I told you, what is risk assessment? To what extent you can take the risk. And then you have to assess what is the existing level of risk and how to reduce the risk. Clear, everybody? And the next one, control activities. So you're ready with your control environment now. In that control environment, what kind of internal control activities are there? That is what your control activities. And information and communication. How the information and communication system of the enterprise. Take care, not the auditor, Nana. The problem ఏంటంటే people will confuse, students will confuse to write all the points are relating to enterprise or auditor. COSO framework is for auditor to get an understanding on the enterprise. COSO framework is for to get an understanding on the information and communication system of the enterprise. How the passage of information system is there. How the information system is communicated. Hey, is it clear? And last and final is like monitoring. At the end of the day, how the internal controls are monitored by the existing management. Clear, everybody? Depending on all these things, an auditor can develop his internal audit plan. Clear? Sir, this is not needed to read. Ante, these are the 5 points that were given. These are the 5 points that were given here. In your material, for each and every point, they will be giving hard explanation. It's not that important. Copy paste చేసేటప్పుడు control environment ఒకటి వచ్చేసింది అంతే. Hope you have got my intention. So it's not only about control environment. You should have even about risk assessment, control activities, information and communication monitoring. This is not an important question, but you're having, you should know it. Clear? Sir, whatever topics that we are not covering here will be given at the end of the chapter. Like this, we'll be giving you theory for self-study. You can just go there, you can just open in your material if needed, and you can just study. So to tell you, your CMAD textbook is this much. మీరు అది చూస్తే మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ మెటీరియల్. బట్ అంత టెక్స్ట్ బుక్లో వాట్ ఎవర్ ఈస్ ద నీడీ అండ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఈస్ ద నాట్ నీడెడ్ థింగ్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ సెగ్రిగేటెడ్ అండ్ వీ హ్యావ్ క్లియర్లీ కెప్ట్ ఇట్ ఫర్ యూ. 99.9% whatever you are studying in your material is highly okay for your examination. Here and there might be one or two questions which are unimportant also, but that will be covered up in choice and that can be answered with the knowledge that you have learned in the classroom. So no need to concentrate more on that, okay? And let me continue with the next question, question number 6. Please go ahead.
What are the objectives of internal control audit?
Take care, what are the objectives of internal control audit? Amma, here scope of internal control. Get the difference in the question. Objectives of internal control. We will take the biggest problem with us is we'll take the questions as light to you. We'll read the answer. But what is the answer for which question we don't know. Just see one word. ఇక్కడ మీరు ఏం ఎక్కువ కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేస్తారు తెలుసా? రైట్ అబౌట్ ద స్కోప్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్నల్ కంట్రోల్ అండ్ యూ లీవ్ ద రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద థింగ్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ. ఎస్, దట్ ఈస్ ప్రైమా ఫేసి నోషన్. యుల్ రీడ్ ద రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద థింగ్ బట్ రీడ్ ద నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఆల్సో. ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్నల్ కంట్రోల్ ఈస్ దిస్ వన్. Objectives of internal control audit is this one. Internal control audit is nothing but internal audit indirectly. Clear everybody? Objectives of internal control is that one. This is objectives of internal control audit. Please go ahead.
Internal control audit objectives. Audit objectives are designed to verify that the preferred outcome of a control activity is achieved.
Very, very simple. Why the audit is being done? Internal audit is being done. Whether checking of internal controls. Am I correct or wrong? Audit objectives are designed to verify that the preferred outcome of a control activity is achieved or not. Management is having one viewpoint in their mind. They will think that the internal control activities should have to go in that way. But whether they are going in that way or not will be audited by the internal auditor.
This is completed by judging the control procedure against a set of predefined criteria. These are commonly referred to as audit objectives.
So whether the objectives of control activity is achieved or not is possible only by judging the control procedure against a set of predefined criteria. First of all, you should have the objective. What's your objective? Depending on that objective, whether your controls are proper or not, it has to be judged first. It has to be judged first. Who will judge the same? Internal auditor will judge the same. What are your objectives and what are your controls? Whether these controls are in line with the objectives or not. Sir, if the controls are not aligned with respect to the objectives, how can you achieve it? Hey, logic clear, huh? So first of all, you have to check for the objectives. Next, you have to check for the framed internal controls. Whether the framed internal controls are aligned to the objectives or not. Clear. Next.
Transaction related audit objectives include occurrence or existence, completeness, accuracy, classification, cutoff or timing.
This was actually a kind of incomplete answer, but check out here. Transaction related audit objectives. What is that audit objectives, Amma? Transaction related object. Sir, I told you like internal audit is not just concentrating on the financial aspects but also on the non-financial aspects like controls. Did you remember? So here transaction related audit objectives include occurrence or existence, when the transaction is occurred, whether the transaction is completed or not, whether the transaction is properly recorded or not, what is the classification of that, and what is the cutoff time for that particular transaction. Hey, did you understand? Likewise, transaction related audit objectives. This is actually an example. First of all, question. ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చారా? applications. Yes. Anyways, listen first. దీని explanation ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చారు. That is different. I'm just speaking about this part. This is example for this question. Okay. Anyways, tell me, what is the question that you are learning now? Objectives of internal control. Tell me what are audit objectives here? Chichi, avi kaadu meer cheppalsindi. Audit objectives are designed to verify that the preferred outcome is achieved or not. Clear. And the next one, how to check whether the preferred outcome is achieved or not. Check out the objectives of the entity first. Then check out the internal controls whether they are aligned with the objectives or not. And finally, whether the same is performed properly or not. This is the audit objective. Which audit objective? Internal control audit objective is this one. Clear everybody? Internal control can be, internal audit is not only on financial aspects but also on, here one of the examples given like transaction related audit objectives. Transaction related audit objectives includes occurrence, completeness, accuracy, classification, cutoff. Check out what are the application of internal control audit objectives with respect to transaction related audit objectives. Is it clear? What are the applications of internal control audit objectives with respect to transaction related audit objectives? Okay, start reading.
Applications of internal control audit objectives. Occurrence. Management authorizes all expenditures.
Yes. Occurrence. In the sense, first of all, a transaction is occurred or not. It has to be authorized by the management. All the expenditure, all the transactions must be authorized by the management.
Completeness. Authorizations are recorded in appropriate fashion.
So, whether the authorizations are recorded in appropriate fashion or not, in the sense, whether the authorizations are manipulated or not, you have to check out that one. Sir, every entity is having their own format for authorizations also. Stamp, keeping a signature, etc. and etc. Putting a date, something like that. Clear? But how this authorization is being recorded, whether it is recorded in a proper fashion or not, in the sense whether the authorization is properly done or not, or whether is it manipulated, that has to be checked out.
Accuracy.
Accuracy, whether the authorizations are stated with correct amounts or not in the financial statements.
Classification.
Proper classification is done for the expenditure or not. Likewise, what kind of expenditure is that? Is it for selling and distribution expenditure? Is it like cost price? Is it like employee benefit expenditure? That proper classification must be given.
Timing.
At the end of the day, authorizations are dated and recorded on correct dates. Hey, all these are the objectives of internal audit with respect to transaction related audit objectives. Tell me all the 5 things. Occurrence, completeness, accuracy, classification, timing. In the sense, first one, whether the transaction is occurred or not. And the next one, whether the transaction is appropriately recorded or not. The next one, amounts were correct or not. Proper classification, head is classified or not. And finally, timing, cutoff date. They should have some cutoff date for recording the transactions or giving the authorizations. Clear everybody? Next one.
Reporting and summarization. Authorizations are documented in appropriate reports and include a summary of each transaction. Internal control audit objectives not only serve to find potential problems but to discover opportunities for improvement and help implement necessary changes.
Sir, reporting and summarizations, at the end of the day, authorizations will be properly documented. Clear everybody? Whatever the authorizations that management had given, each and every authorizations will be properly documented. Say for example, auditor had come all of a sudden and he asked, who purchase department, he's asking purchase department, who had given permission to you to purchase these many goods at one bunch? Then you should show the proof kada. Sir, this is the authorization given by the department head and it is here with you. So whatever all the authorizations are there, they must be properly documented. Clear? And very important, it must include a summary of each transaction. It should include a summary of each transaction. I already told you why internal audit is being done. Just to give a report? No. But also for triple E? No, still. To suggest whether there is improvement in internal controls or not. Not just to give the report on the existing position. You're supposed to give the report how to improve the same. Hey, is the logic clear? So internal control objectives is not to serve to find the potential problems. The potential is nothing but prospective problems or future problems, but to discover the opportunities for improvement also. Point number 1, don't give a report only on the existing controls. Also frame a report on what are the future problems that we are going to face. Also give a report what are the future opportunities that we can grab. Understood, everybody? And also your internal control report should help for implementing necessary changes. Respond, understood? This is not needed at here. Control objective and control activity is the theory which is given after this point in your study material. That's not needed. Internal control objective is only like the first 3 lines or 4 lines. That's it. And you should understand what is the objective of internal control. Rendu kalipo question lo cheppechu, nothing great. Tell me what are internal control objectives first of all. Point number 1, you have to define the organization's objective. Point number 2, check the internal controls whether they are aligned with the objectives or not. Point number 3, whether the preferred outcome is achieved or not. One of the examples is with transaction related audit objectives, and you should guide how the auditor should do the achieve the internal control objectives. Hey auditor, see, I'm giving you an example how to achieve objectives for transaction related audit. Here I'm giving you. First of all, check the occurrence, check the completeness, check the accuracy, check the proper classification, and check the timing and whether the reportings are properly documented or not. Now you frame a report. While framing a report, don't concentrate only on the existing position. Also give the future problems, future suggestions, future opportunities, and help them to mitigate with that losses, to mitigate with that risk. Respond, everybody, clear? Sir, I hope question is bit clumsy, but I hope I have made it clear. What is the objective of internal control audit? Your objective is to identify the objectives of the management, and after that you have to go through the internal controls whether they are aligned or not, and then check out whether the preferred outcome is being come or not. Respond. Now the next work. You don't confuse. We are here to give an example. Check out this one. Transaction related audit. How to do? We are giving you. How to do the transaction related audit. Check out the occurrence, completeness, accuracy, classification, timing, and reporting and summarization. Now it is your duty to achieve the objective. How can I achieve the objective, sir? You have already audited, kada? Yes, sir. Now frame a report. How to frame a report, sir? Your report should not only consist about the present situation. It should address future problems, future opportunities, and help them to achieve the opportunities and mitigate with the losses. Respond, everybody, pakka. So merge these 2 questions and you can just think like one question itself, and that's the reason I told this is like an example. Transaction related audit objectives is an example for how to achieve internal control objectives. Respond, logic clear? How to achieve internal control objective we have designed with transaction related audit objective. Respond, everybody, pakka. Sure? Fine. Moving on to the next thing. What are the types of internal control? Let's discuss it in the tomorrow's session. So your assignment today, how to achieve control related audit objectives. How to achieve control related audit objectives. You just guide the auditor how to achieve control related audit objectives. Understood everybody? దానికి ఏం predefined set of answer ఏం ఉండదు. మీరు రీసెర్చ్ చేసే దాన్ని బట్టి, మీరు బ్లాగ్స్ చదివే దాన్ని బట్టి ఆన్సర్ విల్ బి డెవలప్డ్. Hope you have got my point. Today your assignment, transaction related audit objective, how to achieve is here. Now the assignment is that control related audit objective, ante which is relating to financial or non-financial. Control related ante financial or non-financial. So you have to plan and you have to give the suggestions to the auditor how he can achieve the objectives with respect to control related audit. Clear everybody? Fine, that's it. So let's meet in the next session.